מודה אני לפניך, מלך חי וקיים, שחזרת מודה אני לפניך, מלך חי וקיים.
I'm Rabbi Dina Schaefer of Congregation Beth Israel, and this is Judaism in No Time, connecting you to your faith, tradition, and culture in 5 minutes or less. You may have also noticed that the prayer book Mishkan Tefillah follows a different format than the prayer books that came before it. We call this the 2-page spread. The editors of this prayer book wanted to make sure that it could meet a variety of needs so that anyone worshiping from this prayer book could find meaning in what was on the page. So they developed this concept of the 2-page spread. So let me explain to you very quickly how this works. On the right-hand side of the page, and always on the right-hand side of the page, you will find the traditional prayer. So we're back here on Baruch Hu, and you see 3 things on the page. The first is the Hebrew text. Immediately opposite is the transliteration. This is Hebrew characters that have been transliterated into English ones. So if you're not sure what that first word says, which is Baruch Hu, you can always take a quick glance over here to double check yourself. We encourage our students to work on their Hebrew by reading off this side of the page instead of this side of the page. So here we have the Hebrew text, transliteration, and below it, a traditional translation, which means that it follows the Hebrew word for word, keeping in mind the grammar and the most accurate equivalent of language, but it also keeps in mind contemporary concerns such as gender neutrality, appropriate God language for us in the Reform movement, and it leaves some room for interpretation in order for you to add your own kavanah, your own spirituality, your own intention to what it is that we are praying. So that's what you will always find on the right-hand side of the page. If we move over to the left-hand side of the page, and I'm actually going to turn to find a page that makes a little bit more sense, we find creative interpretations of the prayer that's on the right-hand side of the page. So here our movement has sought out some of the best liturgists, some of the best creative writers, some of the best poets, some of the best religious language crafters out there, and they have collected and amassed a whole bunch of creative readings. You'll notice that each creative reading contains what we call a chatimah. Chatimah comes from the Hebrew lachtom, which means to sign, like a signature, and that is the end of every blessing, has a chatimah. So here you see, this is the blessing for creation, Ma'ariv Aravim, and we have the chatimah, Baruch Ata Adonai HaMa'ariv Aravim, which is the same chatimah as in the traditional version of the prayer. It summarizes the theme of the prayer and gives a little Hebrew end cap to the creative reading that came above. Quite often there will be multiple creative readings, which gives you, the worshiper or the prayer leader, quite a bit of choice in terms of crafting a service that's both spiritually fulfilling and meaningful, as well as staying true to our tradition. On the bottom of each page, you'll find some interesting footnotes. Some of them are quotes by famous people. Here's one by Amos Oz. Some of them are more informational notes on translation or points of information in terms of the physicality of the service that might be interesting to you. If you find your mind wandering during prayer or you're looking for something interesting to read, you can always check down at the bottom of the page because it'll give you some cool things to think about while you pray. So I guess the point of all this is, the more you practice, the more accessible prayer is to you. don't be intimidated by this new prayer book. It's actually quite user-friendly and quite accessible, and it offers a lot of opportunity to really engage with our Jewish liturgical text. So thanks for joining us. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned a little something. And remember, you too can connect to your Jewish faith, tradition, and culture in no time.
מודה אני לפניך, מלך חי וקיים.